Have you ever noticed how three places can all look like Colorado luxury, but the vibe is so different? I am basically going to think out loud here, and I want to walk you through how I'd help a real family make this decision when they're torn between Breckenridge, Vail, or Beaver Creek. I'm doing it this way because most people don't get stuck on bedrooms and bathrooms at this price point. They get stuck on a bigger question, which is, where do we actually belong? If we haven't met yet, my name is Anthony Soul. I'm a Colorado licensed realtor, and I've helped luxury buyers for the last 7 years in Breckenridge, Summit County, and Eagle County. My whole thing is education first. I'm a husband, a dad, and I'm outside as much as humanly possible. And when I talk about these towns, it's not just from a spreadsheet, it's from actually living it, owning here, and watching what actually works for families long term. So let's start with the big idea. Breckenridge, Vail, and Beaver Creek are all amazing. None of them are better, but they are absolutely different lifestyles. And the best choice depends on what kind of mountain life you want to build when nobody's visiting. And it's just you and your family doing normal life up here. Let me take you back to how Breckenridge became our place, because it wasn't some perfectly calculated master plan. So Breckenridge was the first mountain town I ever lived in when I moved to Colorado. And the truth is, I chased my wife out here. At the time, she was my girlfriend, and she had stumbled across Breckenridge on a cross-country road trip. She comes back like, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but there's this town in Colorado. And I'm sitting there in upstate New York like, I am gonna think you're crazy, but also I'm listening. We were already thinking about investing in real estate and decided to take a leap and buy our first condo in Breckenridge. And I'm not being dramatic when I say it was literally one of the best investments of our lives, because that one decision didn't just give us a place to sleep, it gave us the ability to build a life here permanently. That condo turned into an Airbnb, that move turned into roots, and eventually it helped us end up owning 3 properties in Summit County. And Breckenridge and Summit County just really spoke to us. And the reason was because of the energy. Breckenridge is just laid back. It's down to earth. It's the kind of place where you could be wearing a nice watch and a beanie with a hole in it and nobody cares. It feels like a real town with a real community, not just a resort that shuts off when the tourists leave. And if you're the kind of family that wants to build legacy memories here without feeling like you have to perform luxury the whole time, Breckenridge can feel like home pretty quickly. So you've got Main Street, and it's not just pretty, it's useful. You can actually spend a whole day doing normal life stuff and still feel like you're on vacation. You can grab coffee, wander into shops, meet friends, hit happy hour. Nobody's acting like you're in the wrong place because your opera outfit isn't curated. So over time, you start to develop your little routine, and routine is what turns a second home into a legacy home. So for us, that routine looked like popping into places like the French Bakery, which we still do, Threefold Bakery, Rootstock, Radicado, Cool River Coffee House, and even Ollie's when I want wings and sports on a TV. Highly recommend. That's the point, right? Breckenridge is luxurious if you want it to be, but it doesn't demand it. And then there's the thing that if you grew up skiing on the East Coast, will permanently rewire your brain. Walkable lift access. When we could basically walk from our condo to the chairlift, ski all day, and ski back in, it felt like cheating. I grew up where going skiing meant driving an hour or more if you wanted a tiny local hill, and then 3 hours if you wanted the real mountain experience. And even then, you're skiing on a mix of natural snow and man-made snow and hoping it doesn't rain. So for the first time I did the Colorado version, big mountain real snow, and you're home in minutes, it was honestly life-changing. That access is why Breck is so sticky for families. It's not just a ski town, it's a we can actually use this place town. Now let's talk about Vail, because Vail is a totally different first impression. Breckenridge feels like you discovered a cool mountain town, while Vail feels like you walked into a European set design in the best way possible, right? So my first time walking into Vail Village, I remember thinking, wait, this is in Colorado. The architecture has that German Swiss Alpine feel, and if you've never been to Europe, at the time I hadn't, Vail gives you that storybook Alpine village experience instantly. You've got Vail Village, and then you've got Lion's Head, and both are incredibly dialed in. And here's where I want to be careful because people get weird about this conversation fast. I'm not saying Breck is better because it's laid back, and I'm not saying Vail is worse because it's upscale. They're just different personalities. Breck is the friend who says, come over, we're grilling. Vail is the friend who says, we've got a reservation, don't be late. Both are fun, but you might build your life differently in each one. For us, Vail became an amazing place to staycation. You can go over for a day, soak up the energy, eat ridiculously well, ski hard, and head back. And the food scene in Vail, especially if you're a foodie, it's different. One example, it's Matsuhisa Vail, which is Chef Nobu Matsuhisa's spot in the heart of Vail Village. And it's known for that incredibly high-end Japanese style with some Peruvian influence, like the kind of meal you will remember for a lifetime type experience. And then there's the skiing. So I'm just gonna say it. Vail is my favorite mountain in Colorado for skiing. It's huge, it's iconic, and the back bowls are the reason people lose their minds when they talk about powder days. The first time I experienced the back bowls, it was nothing like the typical trails cut through trees vibe that a lot of resorts have. It's wide open, feels endless. On a powder day, you're not thinking stay on the run, you're thinking pick your line. That's why people call them legendary. But here's the lifestyle trade-off that I see with a lot of families deciding between Breck and Vail. Vail can feel more transient. It's more of a global destination, which means you get more cultural diversity, more dining variety, more world comes to you type energy. And I like that, right? But it can also mean that the community piece feels different depending on where you are and how you use the town. Some buyers love that, others want something that feels a little more small town grounded. It's not to say that you can't find it in Vail, it's just not as much as I would say in Summit County, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe Vail is your place, right? And now we get to Beaver Creek, which is kind of like Vail's quieter, more polished sibling that doesn't need to be loud about it. Beaver Creek is interesting because it's absolutely upscale, but it's also calm. It doesn't feel as chaotic. I've had days at Beaver Creek where I genuinely don't think I waited longer than 30 seconds for a lift. It's the place that I go to when I want a high-end experience, but I also want a quieter day. Beaver Creek has one of the best, this is why people pay for luxury traditions I've ever seen. Cookie time. Every day at 3 p.m., they hand out fresh baked chocolate chip cookies in the village and at the base of Centennial Express. Sounds like a small thing until you experience it. You're tired, you're happy, you've been skiing all day, and then chefs in full chef gear with the top hats and everything are walking around like, here you go. It's a simple little moment where you feel taken care of. And that's honestly the Beaver Creek brand in a nutshell. Now, here's a great way to describe Beaver Creek visually. Beaver Creek has these levels, steps, escalators, little terraces. So walking around it feels like you're moving through an elevated experience. Literally, there's something about that layered layout that makes it feel curated and tucked in. Because Beaver Creek positions itself as a legit dining destination with a big mix of restaurants and a strong focus on high-end experiences. If you're the type of buyer who cares about having your places, Beaver Creek has that. The Michelin Guide even lists restaurants in Beaver Creek and the surrounding area like Splendido at the Chateau, Mirabelle, Osaki's, and Sweet Basil. Translation: if you're a food and wine family, Beaver Creek holds its own in a way that surprises people who assume it's only a ski bubble. Shopping-wise, Beaver Creek also leans into quality brands and specialty retail, from the core resort retail options to partner brand stores and specialty shops. It's not mall shopping by any means. It's more like you forgot something and of course there's a beautiful store for it. Again, that's the theme. It's designed to remove friction from your day. So how do you choose between these three if you're a legacy buyer thinking in the $2 million to $20 million range? And honestly, sometimes beyond. Who wants a home you're proud to pass down? Here's how I think about it. Breckenridge is the best fit when you want a real town feel, a walkability, a big menu of things to do, and a community that feels casual and accessible. It's ideal if your legacy vision includes friends popping in, kids growing up with a mountain town rhythm, and the home being used constantly because it's easy and comfortable. Breck tends to be we're here all the time. Vail is the best fit when you want the full resort village experience, world-class skiing, a more global energy, and a dining scene that punches above its weight for a mountain town. Vail can feel like the place where your legacy includes hosting clients, friends, family, and everybody feels like they're on an elevated trip the second they arrive. It's the wow factor choice, and for a lot of buyers that matters, and Vail seriously is wow factor. Beaver Creek is the best fit when you want quiet luxury, less friction, a calmer ski day, and a village experience that feels polished and intentionally designed. It's the we're not here to fight crowds choice. It's the choice for buyers who love nice things but don't need to talk about it, and who appreciate service and small details like cookie time, because those small details add up to a family culture over time. Now, the part that nobody likes to admit: sometimes the right town has less to do with what you like and more to do with how your family actually travels and uses the home. If you're flying in for long weekends a lot, you might prioritize simplicity and rhythm. If you're hosting a revolving door of guests, you might prioritize walkability and amenities. If you want the home to feel like an event when you show up, you might prioritize village polish. None of this is about status. It's about what makes the home easy to love for the next 10, 20, and even 30 years. And that's why when people ask me, Anthony, which one should we buy in? My answer is always, let's back into it. Tell me how you ski. Tell me how you dine. Tell me if you want quiet mornings or a lively village. Tell me if you want your kids to be able to walk around and feel independent. Tell me if you want to lock and leave with minimal mental load. Once we answer that, the town choice usually becomes obvious because the lifestyle choice becomes obvious. If you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, we're exactly this buyer, we're trying to make the right call, shoot me a text, call, or email and describe your ideal mountain life. I'll help you narrow the town first, then the neighborhood, then the right home, because that order is how you avoid buyer's remorse in resort markets. And if you want it even easier, please reach out to me and one of my team members will be able to help you. We cover this entire I-70 corridor and we'll go through the exact process that we use with our serious buyers. And I'll end with a question for you, because I'm actually genuinely curious. If you could picture your family's perfect mountain day, are you waking up to a laid-back Main Street town, a legendary resort village, or a quiet luxury experience where someone hands you a warm cookie at 3 o'clock?